Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first cast of the day. We announced it very shortly in advance, but it's still an announcement nonetheless. So right now we will be bringing to you, or in a few minutes, we'll be bringing to you a Group D match of Japan versus Hong Kong, um, which unfortunately for the other two teams in the group, including Brazil and my team UK. We well, these two teams are two of the strongest teams in the game, you could say, and this group is very much gonna. Well, this match is very much gonna decide who wins the group, if anything. I'm joined today. Well, I'm Alex. I forgot to introduce myself, and I'm joined today by Mitch.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. And yeah, this is going to be a really good match. I'm excited. All I'm going to say is it better be worth getting up early.
Yeah, I was gonna mention how you've
But
like just woken up for this.
yeah, but it's fine. I'm really excited because this is Japan, Hong Kong. Japan, like you mentioned, these teams being two of the strongest in the tournament. So looking forward to seeing them.
Also,
Um,
potentially have that sense of like an Asian rivalry, maybe. I don't know if teams tend to think like that. Um, but there's no other like big Asian teams, so it's kind of fighting for that crown in that match.
yeah, for sure.
If you want to add an extra layer of competition to it,
Yeah.
so I guess we should look at the lineups. Uh, so starting with Japan, I'm going to absolutely butcher these names, unfortunately for any Japanese people watching. But we have Keqing, Maracas, En, and Shinpon. Is there anything you'd like to say about these players? You're probably more familiar with them than I am.
Yeah, so I might refer to Keqing as I think is the name I know him
Mm.
by, and then Shimpon. Those two have been playing since the beginning, basically. They've been around in teams. I think was the leader of Cyan Butterfly, which was a Japanese team that played in CWL back in the day. Shimpon, I believe, was in Yomi back in the day as well. So these guys have played for a very long time. Maracas and N are newer players, and by newer I mean I think within the past year for both of them, but they both earned their way on the team by playing or doing very well in lounge. They both reached master rank in the past year, so
I'd say didn't
um,
N like spend quite a bit of time as rank one as well.
yeah. And
So
Maracas is rank 1 right now, I believe. So
okay,
they um very strong runners, and um yeah, this roster is just just crazy. Like finals team last year, and for a good reason. So,
yeah,
um,
very strong players overall, both individually and well, you see like Japanese players tend to form a pact. I know a lot of the time, like, and they just play with a bunch of other Japanese players across like all Mario Kart games, so their synergy with one another is like it's hard to compare another country to Japan in terms of like team gameplay.
yeah, for sure. And then looking at Hong Kong, so their lineup, Che Wong, aka Angus, I might refer to him as Angus throughout the match. DKR, Harriet, and Wawa. So this team, we've talked, T and I especially, have talked a lot about these guys over the past few streams. Um, this team, I think a lot of people are underrating, and this is the lineup specifically that I think a lot of people are underrating. Um, Wawa and Harry are both diamond players in Lounge. Chaewon was also diamond at one point. They have played so much and improved so much over the past year individually. Last year, we saw them tie against Mexico in their group, and Mexico being a semifinal team from last year, came so close to top eight. I think this year they can definitely push for that top eight spot. but this roster, these guys have been playing like grinding the game. Um they're looking really, really solid. I think a lot of people are underrating them, but okay,
Very
perfect
swift
timing.
into the
Actually,
first
gonna
race. Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna head right into
That's pretty pleasant
race
surprise.
1 here.
You see a landscape mode POV. That's not something I'm used to seeing, although I have been a bit out of touch for a while, so...
Landscape, yeah, still definitely the more uncommon orientation to play the game in, but we see this is DKR playing in landscape. That is a split red that's going to hit 2 HK members right off the bat. Very unfortunate. And a bomb for DKR that will put him all the way back in 7.
So,
he should just go for shock at this point. I don't think he can drop to 8, but he should
Yeah.
just try and stay 7th here. Top 2 is held by Japan right now. Bill for DKR, so no shock chance for him. If Japan gets it right now, they are just gonna hold it for sure.
Yeah, just for the viewers, it is Japan in red and HK, well, Hong Kong in blue. So took me a moment to figure that out. I don't know why, but
And he doesn't use the bill in time. There's
that is
shock for
Japan
Japan.
holding shock. Looks like N was the only one properly going for it from the start, which is on this sort of track. It's a bit of a waste to just not go for it from the beginning. If you're Hong Kong, they are still running in first, but we do see Japan all in 2, 3, 4, and if one of them has a dodge, then they are getting first. But it looks like Japan are going to opt to hold the shock, and instead try and keep the spots, which they do for the most part. No, which they do altogether. The Wendy does flip between 5th and 4th for a few seconds, but might just keep 4th in the end. And that's going to be a +1 race for Japan to start the war.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, that was Wawa go first. Yeah, so interesting that that Wawa was able to break up those top spots, probably with a mushroom or something. I was surprised there weren't any reds, but that works out. So Wawa kind of saving the race there. For our spectating purposes, the Wendy is, I think, or Keqing, however it's pronounced.
Yeah.
So that's who that is. Everyone else is using Shy Guy, pretty typical stuff. So
I'll say I feel like I see Shy Guy a lot more often from, well, Japanese and Hong Kong players. Whereas it seems to be a bit more variety overall from other countries. But obviously all the heart characters are the same, so...
yeah, definitely Shy Guy or Wendy being more common, but now I would say I notice a lot of like the OG players use Wendy, like people who played all like starting back from 2020 still use Wendy.
Yeah.
Newer players use Shy Guy. I'm not sure why, but that's just what I seem to notice.
So it looked like Hong Kong started in a lot of top spots this race, and they were actually top 4 for a moment at the start, but looks like one of them is opting to drop out to bag this race. Probably a good decision considering how N was going for it last race, but N is still very much like keeping 8th for the entirety of this race. But that being said, Hong Kong are running currently, well, they were in top 2, but Curiosity gets taken out. DKR just not really getting many items to break into top spots here. Which means it must be... Sorry, which player is it that's in first? It'll be whoever's not... Oh, never mind. Hong Kong do get taken out, maybe? Oh, sorry, no, that was just the player catching up from 7.
So, yeah, Hong Kong builds up, so they've given up going for shock.
Same
First place,
players,
I believe is Angus. Oh, okay. So
no, it's not. It was Wawa. Shock
Wawa,
does come in though, which most likely a Japan shock, but Hong Kong are in
that
a
doesn't
lot
look
of
like
spots
it's
now.
helping them very much.
And one of Japan gets
Yep.
taken out. That's looking likely to be a bottom 2 for them. 2, 3, 5, 6 for Hong Kong, which is it's a better race than Japan got last time around, but still. I don't know. I'd say that's pretty good considering that was a Japanese shock.
Oh yeah, they're gonna take that. I don't know what that shock did, to be honest, because that could have been a much bigger result, considering there were Japanese players in the back for a little bit. So
Yeah. I saw
maybe
the
I guess it was it was too late. I guess
mm,
there weren't enough Japanese players with dodges at that point.
I mean, DKR was kind of just chaining hearts for the entire race, and then I
Yeah.
saw that Chaewong dodged the shock, and then one Japanese player dodged, at least like in DKR's vision, but not sure what happened at the top. Um, anyway, so to this race, it's going to be an early top two for Hong Kong. Never mind, Japan have already broken into top two, taking the Hong Kong player out of first.
I think he got a
DKR
buff
is just
in
kind of
second.
alone.
Okay, so he spams his
It
red, but
doesn't
it won't
connect,
hit.
and he gets trailed.
Yeah, early trail. So now top two. This will be pretty hard to break.
Without a
Heart
shock.
for DKR. Also heart for Maracas here. Okay, and we see right away, Hong Kong player breaks in the first, but he's going to
Like,
get taken out
yeah,
right away. That's
well, I'm
probably a
not
red
able to
trail.
hold that. There's a lot. I've noticed that, well, just from my experience playing against them as well, Japanese players do tend to be very aggressive. So it's very disadvantageous for a Hong Kong player to stay in first, like without their teammate in 2-3. Because Japan will just take them out, and
Yeah.
and again, using items like that, they will just drop them on you. If you look at it, again, there's just one Hong Kong player up there, and then the rest of the top spots are occupied by Japan.
Oh, this Mega could do work, actually. Yeah, that's going to hit a Japan member
Oh,
on the line. But that
ooh,
bill, very unfortunate for DKR. That was looking like a
that's
really good race.
that's still a pretty good race for Hong Kong, though.
Yeah.
1-3-6-7 for them. By the looks of things, N is very much committed to the Shark, which
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's well, again, this is just from my experience playing from them, but I haven't played against them in a while. It's very rare that Japanese players like go that hard for shock. Like I tend to associate them with like running a lot more. That's
Yeah,
what
I
I'm used
think.
to seeing.
Yeah. And I think the reason for that is they realized after, if we recall last year's finals, and semifinals even, where they were not prepared for bagging, and then teams like Mexico and USA bagged against them, and then they had to use, I believe in finals, they had to use baseball to bag, who, if players recall, he's not on the team this year, but if players recall, he's one of the best players in general that's ever played the game. Like,
But I remember him being like absolutely insane, like
yeah,
consistently as well.
probably their best player last year, and he had to bag because they were just not prepared for it. So now this year they're being a little more cautious of that, because they know what the players now understand like the power of the shock and how it can just totally swing races. So now Japan are being more cautious of that. So they have N just staying in 8th. I believe he's prepared to actually bag if a team does that, but Hong Kong is just opting to 4-run, which I think is what they did last year too. So it's just, Japan just rolling with whatever the other team is doing here.
Yeah, looks like DKR was holding first for the most part, but then I think drafted him, and then obviously his teammate took him out. So that does look like it's going to be a Hong Kong shock. Well, it would make sense if that was a Hong Kong shock, considering
Mm,
most of them dodged. But it's still a very good race for Japan, a 1-3-4-7.
honestly, I think N carried that shock up to like 5th. That might
Oh,
have been a
really?
Japan shock. Yeah, because he was in last for most of the race. It's likely it was his. Shimpan
Yeah.
just unfortunately gets hit on the line, but that's a really good race for Japan. 1-3-4.
Shock definitely benefited Hong Kong a lot more than it benefited Japan. Like Japan were top 3 going into that
Yeah.
going into that last set after taking out DKR.
That
I've
was a really good green, by the way.
Yeah,
from, I think it was Maracas. So DKR went wide on the Nisk, and then he tried to throw his green forward to hit, I think, but then he got punished for it. That was a really good play.
I've noticed that DKR, his driving has been pretty good for the most part, but I'm noticing that he's getting taken out a lot towards the end. And like you noticed it that race maybe, he was a lot less careful with his protection. Like there was at one point where he just threw away his item like after the set, for no clear benefit, which I think has been his downfall generally throughout this match so far.
Yeah.
And then, like I alluded to earlier, it's very hard for Hong Kong to make a statement in this match without having multiple people in top spots. Like in there, for example, there's one player alone now. Even if he'd wasted the star, they would have been in a better position because they would have had two people to fight the Japanese players. So now they're very heavily reliant on, well, catch-up items, more specifically the shock. And they are kind of getting in each other's way a little bit as well, like taking out each other's dodges.
Yeah.
Although DKR does get another star. Very nice pull, and if he gets shrooms here as well, then no, only one shroom. Not much you can really do with those.
Yeah, one shroom on this Japan top 2. That's a back spam on the Harrier as well. Yeah, this top 2 is gone. Star from N as well. This is looking rough.
And DKR throws the green at his teammate in the Mega. Shock comes in very late, but that's just going to secure a Japan top 3, which they were likely to get anyway, I think. Yeah, top 3-7 with N kind of making his way up into, yeah, third at the end, with Shimpon, I think, using the shock. That?
Yeah, I think they switched. I think, yeah, Shimpon went for it that race instead of N and switched gliders, so yeah. Hong Kong, they just got hit out early. Like you said, Wawa again being the only one in first, and when your enemy is 2-3-4, you're not gonna last long up in first, no matter what. So
more specifically, when Japan is 2-3-4,
yeah,
you're not keeping that. Very accurate players with their items, and very like I've mentioned multiple times, just aggressive and difficult to displace. So we get a more probably a shroom-oriented track. We see a few people using Toadette here. One from each team.
Yeah, so we have. Oh, okay, yeah. So we have, I think's point of view for this race. And yeah, this is Choco Island 2. Very notorious track with this interesting glider. And
that is a pretty funny shot, guy.
That's gonna be a green shell onto, I think, here. He'll have to waste his mushroom.
Actually, a bit of a blessing that red just got taken out by nothing, so that means he's not going to hit his teammate with it.
Yeah. How can he go around? This is not a good pull for him.
No
here.
shrooms.
And
wow, Hong Kong are top 3 actually as well. This is looking pretty bleak for Japan.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Star
is in the star. Oh, the dodge comes in from. Sorry, is this whose POV is this?
I think.
Oh, I think, yeah, it says it in the screen.
So Japan shock, yeah, top 3 to a 1-5-6, just like that.
That's a +1 race for Japan. Sorry, I completely forgot that the name of the player was bottom left of the screen. And that's, yeah, a 2-3-4-7, was that?
Yes. Yeah.
Japan.
So
+3. And at the halfway point, they are up 16 on Hong Kong.
Honestly, this is like, this war has been very close until just now. Like,
well, race 5 was the one that kind of broke it.
Yeah, but I'm very surprised. Hong Kong are actually doing a really nice job so far. I'm really impressed with what we've seen so far. Back to DKR for Oreo Shipyard.
Very running based track. It's gonna be hard it's going to be even harder for Hong Kong to make up ground on a track like this.
He's surrounded by greens here. He'll just opt to shroom and get his... Yeah, that was a good play. Getting his protection out. He'll hold first for now, but with 2-3 still for Japan, this may not last too long. Not getting the air on the
Yeah,
Nisk.
he doesn't make any sort of like ground on the Nisk and lets Japan slip into top 3. Well,
That
top 2
Morocco's
now.
dropping... Okay, I thought he was dropping with a red, but he didn't want to have one. That's a nice red onto the player holding the heart. Couldn't see who that was.
I think that was Shimpon who was up there. And DKR drives into the bomb. Spot's
That's
very
a
much
quick
spread out,
play.
but it's going to be bottom 2 now for
There
Hong
goes
Kong.
Area with a red as well. Yeah. Wawa, again, being the only player up in these top spots now, and he has the second place box, which is nice, but oh, that's a nasty back onto DKR.
Oh, right
Yeah,
over the boost panel as well.
his race is over. And yep, there goes Wawa. Top 3 now. Look at, yeah, if you can see the mini-map, look at, I think, Sprake in first. This is not looking good.
And
Gonna
N
get
is
another...
holding 8th as well. So there's pretty much no chance that Hong Kong catches up unless they get a miracle. Maybe a blue here. Yeah, even then that wouldn't do that much though.
Yeah, I think's just gone. But maybe Harriet can contest 4th here, being Shimpon? Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, so he'll get 4th.
Shimpon does lose a couple spots, but that's still a top 2-5 for Japan. It looks like N did get the shock and will be using that to catch up, well, to secure 7th. Right now, he's currently maintaining. Yeah, it's like... I like the decision to shroom up early, but I think at that point, it's not worth going for the Nisk, because there's a chance that you don't get enough air.
Yeah, I think there's specific inputs when you go over the pipe that causes you to get the air. So like but you have to do the inputs. I don't think DKR was able to. I'm not sure exactly how, it may be different with landscape, to be honest, how that works. But yeah, both Japan members behind him were able to do it. And either way, going around would have prevented him from getting redded because box in second was obviously taken by Japan there.
Yeah, I think it's much better at this point to play it a little safe in top spots, and like I alluded to earlier, just like don't waste protection when you don't need to, and don't do anything risky if you can keep first.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of pressure on why am I forgetting the name? DKR there, sorry. To keep first, as there has been for the majority of the war for anyone who's been up there for Hong Kong, more specifically Wawa. And yeah, he just kind of let it slip, which allowed Japan to get that huge lead in first. And we will see thanks POV for this race, where he's not managing to run it up yet.
Okay, holding his heart through the set could signify a shock. We also see the Hong Kong member in second holding a heart as well.
This blooper could actually be really good if it's able to take out that Hong Kong heart. Yeah, which he is going to use it to do.
Yeah, so he'll take out one of his hearts, another heart pull. Gonna opt to go down, avoid that section at the top can be a little chaotic. And
He does pass.
That nano was a little sus. Oh,
Oh,
okay. There's
very nice back from
member getting
Wawa.
taken out. Yeah. Just I think now he has no heart anymore either, so he could be taken out very easily here. Okay, he still gets the box in second. Double greens though.
Oh, doesn't hit with the snipe and then gets taken out himself.
Yeah, good attempt, but not gonna hit, and he'll get punished for that. So Wawa gonna hold first here, and that's could. Okay, Japan member overtaking. Yeah, one Hong Kong member was taken out, so 146 for them. But again, another run for Wawa. Wawa being the one saving grace for Hong Kong in those top spots.
That is also still only a -1 race for Japan there, considering Hong Kong like held the top spots for all of the race actually, until like right at the end.
Yeah, they got a clutch hit onto, I think it was Harry at the very end.
Yeah,
So
I think was just kind of on his own, trying to like kind of sandwich between the two Hong Kong players. I think it was Wawa and Harrier, and then Harrier managed to just take advantage of Wawa like being a little bit exposed. A very good play from Hong Kong that race, but even then, only a +1 race out of it. Definitely could have been better for them. Okay, we see DKR's POV again.
So on the new track, Piranha Plant slide, early hit, but he has a shroom right. He can come right back up. 2-3 held by Japan. They honestly they should try and make quick work of first here if they have the reds, but it doesn't look like they do. So 1-3-5 right now. This section can be very can be very
Harrier's
chaotic.
out.
But, yep,
The Mega comes out from DKR and takes out.
I think
yeah.
yeah,
I think he
he
gets a Japanese
hits
player there.
he hits a player.
And this
Wawa had a
Shroom
heart
is
as
going to
well.
take DKR to first.
Yep, he'll take.
These are the spots they need to be in, top 2 going into lap 2.
Wawa on the heart as well. That's a
yeah.
power position, holding, protecting your teammate with a heart in second. But he, okay, it's looking pretty close. Japan might have just taken that box in second, so now, okay,
Yeah.
opting to go wide. Yeah, I think that's a smart
yeah,
play.
the blue
There's
comes
the blue
out.
shell.
That's why. That's gonna get Hong Kong into a very nice top 2 here, with a decent lead over third as well.
Gotta be careful. He's taking lines a yeah, he took that line a little bit wide and trails his teammate. Very unfortunate.
And if there's a red from Japan, then it's over for DKR.
Yeah. Double coins.
Double
Shock
coin.
coming in for respawn dodge for Shimpan. He'll get first off that. Also Star coming up from I think. He actually tried to hit DKR there, but kind of missed. And that's going to be a top 2.
Yeah, I think one mistake the Hong Kong have been making over and over again, like the obvious mistake, is just not contesting hard enough for Shock. Like, we saw them go for it a couple times early on, but even then, it's just like leaving it completely open for Japan like that. Like, I'm pretty sure they were occupying bottom 2 for a lot of that race. It's just not going to end well if they get it.
Yeah, and we did see the respawn dodge from Shimpan. That forward respawn in the glider is pretty difficult. I believe we showcased it yesterday on stream with the track showcase, but that respawn is not as easy as it looks, especially because I think Shimpan did the fast respawn, which involves hitting that wall after the glider in a way that your cart continues forward and you reach the point where you go forwards. It's very it's not the most difficult respawn, I would say, but definitely like it. You can't just dive down like some other respawns. It's pretty
very
difficult.
tricky, yeah.
So Shimpan able to respawn dodge with that. So that was a really nice play. DKR going to take Maracas banana away, but he will get punished
rid of
for
it
it
instantly.
Yeah.
And again, it's Japan pretty much solo going for Shock. In fact, yes, so because
I think at this point though, it's pretty late in the war. They should probably just stop contesting it, and because they got to get these race wins now. This is looking pretty dire now. They just got to try and run, but right now it's not looking to be going so well. Okay, yeah, I think it's taken out, but top 2 is now held by Japan again, so gonna be there goes Angus with the Mega, gonna get taken out.
Stard not able to reach, I think, in time, and the cycle of the barrel just completely screws over DKR.
That is a rough spot of the track for sure.
And N appears to be
you gotta exit that.
Right behind the pack as well. If a shot can come in from Japan, then it's over. No, the Bill comes in
he
instead.
He gets a Bill, though. That's even better.
Nice Bill.
Yeah, that's even better. Top 2-5-6 for Japan.
I'm pretty sure that seals the match.
Yeah, if not, it's very close.
Hong Kong would have to top 4 twice to tie.
Yeah, okay. So
at the very least, a draw for Japan. They just need to get one spot in the top 4, and they've won.
And they've won the war, yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing N will carry on going for Shark, as that's been working out very nicely for them. Even on races like that where he doesn't get it, but then just makes up a load of ground at the end. It's a very effective way of playing, and I think N has been very important for Japan this match.
And that is the power of bagging. Really, when you're not contesting, teams like Japan just can take advantage of that, stay in 8th, and touch every box in 8th when possible, while staying close to the pack. Like you said, it is very effective, and really, most of the time, it will punish teams who don't go for it. So, definitely seen that this war.
8th place boxes just very powerful, even without Shark. It's just such an advantage to hoard them.
But yeah, and that begs the question: if Hong Kong aren't going to go for it, like hard bag, how will they fare against their remaining 2 matches, Brazil and UK, who both have baggers? Will their running power, like these guys have very strong running, especially Wawa, we've seen that, but will that be enough against the runners of Brazil and UK? They want this top 8 spot going into the bracket stage.
Yeah, well,
Is it going to be enough?
Wawa has very much been the star player, and I think that's going to be pretty scary for both teams to play against. But I don't know, it's just a case of like having more confidence in their playstyle because, like I mentioned earlier, they went for Shock a couple times early on, but it was very much half-hearted. Like they weren't really gonna they weren't gonna get it. It just
Yeah.
there wasn't enough commitment from them. And N also, by the looks of things, just a very strong bagger, who will probably just not be displaced from 8th.
Yeah.
If they'd have been more aggressive and tried to just play from the very front of the pack really early on in each race, then maybe they would have had a better chance. And like we saw quite a few races where they showed promise of like outrunning Japan, which is not an easy task.
Yeah.
But they've shown that they can definitely do it, and they have done it a few times. Like they got a few good races. Like races 2 and 3 they won, and race 8 as well by a small margin. But in the end, Japan just had like the kind of the final play, which overpowered Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Again, particularly like I mentioned with DKR being quite prone to exposing himself to get hit by Japan late on in the race after driving it very nicely up until that point.
Yeah, at this top level, you really have to have a concept of like when to play aggressive and when to play defensive. Because if you play offensive improperly, you will get punished for it almost every time. And we saw that quite a bit from DKR's point of view. Just aggressive, like snipe attempts and whatnot that just were not worth it in the end. Japan always has that support, even if they have they don't have top 2 or top 3. Even when they have spots intermingled, they have that pressure all the time, which is why they're one of the top teams.
We see Japan
And
again, even this race, just kind of like they let Hong Kong try and get a little bit comfortable, but in the
it's
end they
never
just
for
ended up
long.
taking over very easily because the
Yeah,
Hong Kong
never
players
for
did
long.
leave themselves kind of open. The blue's going to come in late, and that looks like it's going to be a top 2 for Hong Kong. It's a bit late for a very good race like this, but again, that's just like I was mentioning before the race. They can do it. It's just they did not show it effectively in this war. It's going to be a 3-5-6-8 for Japan. But
And
I'd
look
be a
at
little
that, an MVP for Wawa with 80 points, but
yeah.
not going to
I
be enough.
Wawa definitely both by score and like by play, just the MVP of that match. Very strong performance from him.
So
DKR, not so much. Um, I would have liked to see a bit more from DKR in terms of like retaining top spots. And then the other two players, it's hard to judge considering they were kind of just they were just kind of in the middle for most of it, it seemed. It's hard to really
Yeah,
comment on how they did.
Angus was the one going for shock, I believe. On the races that he was contesting it was Angus. Che Wong going for it. Interesting because he I would rank him as one of Hong Kong's best runners up there with like this trio, like I mentioned, Wawa, Harry, and Angus. Che Wong is um very strong. So I think it's interesting that Che Wong was the one going for shock, but um regardless, that is going to be Japan's first win in the group stage. So congrats to them. I believe this group has one more match today, and it's in. Well,
Well, we're still figuring that out.
yeah, I was gonna say it might be in 30 minutes, Hong
It
Kong
won't
versus
be in 30
UK.
minutes. We won't get far for that time. But
So
hopefully in 2 hours and 30 minutes we will see UK versus Hong Kong.
yeah, so that match may happen today. The remaining matches for this group, including Japan's other two matches, will be tomorrow. Um, but yeah, that will conclude our cast. Do want to mention though, we do have another cast today later on. USA versus France. That's going to occur at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, arguably, like if you had to rank the teams right now, Japan, France, and USA would probably make up the top three, if anything. Or at least they would all be in the top four. And to see both USA and France in the same group is gonna be an incredible matchup. Especially since USA won it last year, and they are obviously defending their title this time around.
Yep. So one of, if not the most hyped match for groups, I think. A lot of people are
Absolutely.
hyping up this match. So there will be a cast for that. Again, that's at 5 p.m. Eastern. Several other matches today as well. I believe Mexico's playing their first matches tonight. And in Group A, there's several matches as well.
Yeah,
Take a look. Oh,
most
Mexico
groups.
is Group A. Sorry, Group B is
Yeah,
what I meant. Colombia, yeah, Switzerland getting their first matches in today. Peru with their matchup against Argentina tonight. That's going to be a good one for sure.
yeah. I mean, every group
And
other than Group D now has only played one match so far. This was the second match of Group D, with the
yeah,
first one being a very narrow win for UK against Brazil last night. Yeah, we saw Spain take a narrow win against El Salvador
yeah,
in
that
Group
was our
A.
cast. One of our casts yesterday.
Yeah,
That was a really good match.
Colombia getting comfortable win against Argentina, and USA getting a massive win against Chile. So, especially since, like Chile have been quite strong recently, and seeing USA just demolish them, it's very threatening for any team that's going to face against them. Which obviously we have France later on, so it's going to be an interesting match to say the least.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really looking for. There's so many good matches today, so definitely looking forward to that. Um, yeah, I believe that's going to do it for us today. Congrats to Japan on their win, and we will see you guys later for the USA France cast.
Yeah,
But
thank
yeah,
you
thank
all
you
for
guys so much for
watching,
watching.
and see you in however long it is until the match. I
Yeah,
can't be
it's
bothered to work out the
still
time.
it's like 8 hours. It's a long time from
Seven
now.
and a half, I believe, if we're getting specific.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.